Today is a glorious, monumental day in the history of my channel. Today I take on the big man. Today I take on Joe Biden. Nah, psych. Today I'll take on Biden another day. Today I take on Jimmy Dore. Yeah, bold. It's a 140 sub dude versus a dude who has, let's see, 109 or 1.19 1,119,000 sheep that follow him. Let us just look at this shit and see what he's got to say about Crystal Ball's garbage RFK smear job called out by her own viewers. I cannot wait to see this. This shit's gonna be funny. This shit's gonna be hilarious. All right.
RFK Jr. Went on the what's it called, Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar.
Yeah.
And Crystal did what's called the opposite of journalism. She pushed talking points from Big Pharma.
That's bold to say. That's very, very bold to say, considering, Jimmy, that you also did the bidding of Big Pharma as well. At least I think. Hold on. Let me see. I believe you got the vaccine as well, I think. What is this? Oh, this is Sean's shit. I don't want that. Jimmy Dore literally admitted that he got both of the original COVID shots, which is just wild to me.
That are lies, and she's uninformed, ignorant, and arrogant. And
Jimmy, didn't you literally edited articles, the headlines to suit your way? That was literally proven, wasn't it? Like you were talking about the vaccine and you literally edited a headline to make it sound like it was something that it wasn't. By the way, I just want to tell you that, like, I can tell that this part of your hair is fake. Like, you can clearly tell that. I'm just saying, you can tell, Jimmy. Just go and smoke weed, bro. You don't need to be doing this shit. No one asked you to do this shit, bro. You're old now. Let it go. I'm already fighting with Jackson Hinkle. I don't want to fight with you too. But I'm going to take pleasure in taking both of you down. But you know what? No more pausing. Let's just hear what you guys say for right now. I'll see what you guys say.
He doesn't give RFK Jr. She makes accusations and then talks over him and doesn't allow him to answer the questions. And when he asks, what am I wrong about? She won't tell him.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, what she asks him is that he literally said that, like, you know, vaccines give people autism. One, if that's true, I have autism. What's wrong with having autism? But two, it's not fucking true. It's literally bullshit. Like, it's just not proven. It's not true. There has been many scientists done by people on both sides of the political spectrum that have literally proven that vaccines do not give children autism. It is literally a gene within parents that gives people autism. If one of your parents carries it, you have a 50-50 shot of having autism, even if your parents, guess what, are not vaccinated. That was what RFK Jr. said, was that vaccines give people autism, which, one, is not true, but two, even if it was true, there's nothing wrong with having it, period.
So let's watch this. I don't know why I think she really wants.
Steph, listen to me. Just what Jimmy says is not funny. There's no need to hear you laughing. It's not funny. You're the only people you are the only person that, like, you know, unironically laughs at his shit without having, like, a gun pointed at your head. Actually, that's not true because we can't see you. You might be having a gun pointed at your head. It's actually possible. Let's just go.
Who wants to get back on MSNBC because that's the kind of show they do now. So
why would she want to? Jimmy, what the fuck are you talking about? Hold on a second. Hold on, boy. Hold on. Breaking Points does MSNBC shit. Let me just show you what Breaking Points talks about. And I'll show you exactly the difference between them and MSNBC. Hold on. I don't think the MSNBC would be talking about McAfee. I don't think that MSNBC would have RFK Jr. on his shit. When was the last time you heard MSNBC talk about depression, Noam Chomsky caught with the Island Man, the housing market? When was the last time you heard MSNBC ever talking about that shit? I mean, look at this. Look at how many subs they have. Crystal does not need to go on to MSNBC. She literally does not. She makes a shit ton of money. They're literally the number one political show in the whole world now, which is just some like really dope shit, and I'm just glad for them. It's almost as if a right-leaning person and a left-leaning person can work on the same show and be anti-establishment and also like admit that Trump is a thug, but also admit that Biden's corrupt. That's wild to me, Jimmy. I'm sorry that, like, you know, you're taking money from like Syria and shit, and that you can't get all of these dictators' hands firmly out of your asshole. I can't help that you are beholden to the establishment, Jimmy. I'm sorry. But you really have been gunning for a show on Fox News, and you're never gonna get that. So have fun with your fake Fox News.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
So let me ask you about vaccines. This is an area.
Guys, come on, guys. Guys, I'm gonna guys, and we're gonna guys.
Where you and I have significant differences, and you know, just to level with you on this, like a lot of what you say I really respond to. I think you're a very genuine person, but the across the board, whether you want to call it vaccine skepticism or anti-vax advocacy.
Leave it to Jimmy Dore to be to like claim to be a leftist, but then like support the least left person in the whole race. That's like the funniest shit ever. It's like he literally claims to be the only like progressive left, but then he serves the one, but then he's like, you know, supporting the one person who is not at all a progressive. That's like, you know, if like on the off chance, right? That's if like Ben Shapiro said that he was done supporting like the Republicans, right? And that he was no longer, you know, a right winner, but then when the Republican primary came around, he was just like, you know what? DeSantis is my guy here. The most right-leaning person. That's my fucking guy. Like, that'd be stupid as fuck.
Advocacy, which has been a central part of what you've been up to for the past number of years. For me personally, it's an issue, and it's a real sort of red line. And I know I'm not alone in that, especially running in a Democratic primary. There are going to be other millions of people like me who have similar concerns. So how do you win them over? What's your message to people who think like I do?
Well, but just tell me where you think I got it wrong.
Well, I think
that's not coming. Okay, here we go.
You get it wrong when you draw a correlation between the rise of things like autism and
Jimmy, she literally just said it. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, she literally just said it. She literally just explained her reasoning. Like, listen, I know that you're upset that you can't get in her pants, but you have to relax, bro. You got cut by Kyle Kalinske, G. You got cut by Kyle Kalinske, bro. You got cut by Kyle Kalinske. It's okay to admit. That's not the reason, or that's the reason you don't fuck with Kyle now, because he's with Crystal and you are stuck with Steph. Listen, there's no need to be jealous, bro. It's okay. It's okay. Look at his coping face. He's coping. It's all right, bro. Listen, these people are not, beholden to anyone. You have Syria firmly up your asshole. It's okay. His face, he always looks like he has like a dick put firmly into his ass.
And the introduction of vaccines when there isn't hard scientific
Correlation.
evidence
She means causation. Correlation. There is a correlation.
Yeah,
Why are you talking over what she was saying? Like, just let her finish.
Is a correlation.
Doesn't mean
She meant
causation.
causation.
Yeah.
So she throws that out there, and he's ready to back it up. He's certainly ready. Let's watch.
How do you know there's not hard scientific evidence?
Well, because the one major study that purported to show that was retracted, and the scientist who conducted it was, had to.
What year?
That's literally factually true. That study that proved that was literally debunked. I mean, say what you want about vaccines, but that study literally showed evidence that, autism does not come from vaccines. That's just literally true. That's just literally true.
You're doing now.
Basically fraudulently created. Listen, I don't want to get in a debate with you about this because you spent your life.
Because he would embarrass you because you don't know anything about what you're talking about. And that's why you don't want to get into a debate. And you are sure you don't want to get into a debate. Because if you got into a debate,
What the fuck is a bait, Jimmy? What's a bait?
everybody would, even more than we know now, we would reveal that you know nothing. People would know that you know nothing about what you're talking about. You haven't read any of the studies, and he would clean your clock, which is why you're doing such a
What studies, Jimmy? The studies that you purport on your show from people that support Donald Trump. That's literally the studies that you post on your show. Dude, at least when I talk my shit, I come at it with facts from people that do not like either of the two parties. This shit is crazy to me that Jimmy is so beholden to his right-wing audience, because now being a right-winger gets you a shit ton of money. Being a leftist gets you practically nothing.
dishonest and amateur. Well, it's not. It's a hack. This isn't an amateur interview job. This is a hack job, and that's what she's doing.
The people that maybe she thinks are qualified, they're never going to do it. They're never going to talk to him. So
that's right.
It's just left to someone like her.
That's right.
To be like, well, I trust this group for whatever reason, and how are you going to?
And she just talks over him.
Yeah.
She just talks over him. Here we go.
Pulling out this study. I will tell you. Let me just tell you.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Let me just tell you. I've listened to.
She won't let him talk. She's been talking nonstop now for about 3 minutes straight. And
listen to what she says. The next sentence she says.
She's let me get an answer. What are you talking
hours of interviews with you. With
did she say she listened to hours?
Yeah.
But you know what she didn't do? She didn't read his book.
Nope.
The bestseller, New York Times bestseller, Amazon bestseller for weeks, if not months. Bestseller.
I did, and literally everything that he says in there about vaccines is proven to be wrong. It's literally proven wrong. And I'm not even saying that, he shouldn't be allowed to say this shit. He has the freedom of speech, and he is running for president, and I think that it's a crime that he's not allowed to speak his mind on mainstream platforms. Which is why I'm glad that Crystal is having him on so that we can have this type of a debate. Jimmy, I do not recall you having Marianne Williamson on your show. Is she on your show? Is she? Is she scheduled to come on your show? I don't think so. I'm just saying, bro, I really genuinely do not think that you are as honest as you claim to be, and I'll show why later.
She didn't read that book, because if she did, she wouldn't be saying this stupid shit.
Fuck, I hate having ass. Oh, Jimmy gets ass, which means that he's
with an open mind. And I'm not persuaded. Now, maybe I'm wrong. That's possible. I'll hold it out there. People can watch. I thought Megyn Kelly did a phenomenal interview with you that went through all these claims piece by piece by piece. I really encourage people to watch that whole exchange because we won't be able to do it justice here in the 5 minutes we have left. But there are going
Now, the reason why she can't do it justice in the 5 minutes they have left is completely manufactured and made up by her. She can take as much time as she wants to talk with him. This idea that she has to go to a break because there's
well, actually, you wouldn't know this because you don't really have, you kind of have the same people on your show, but like Breaking Points has like a schedule. They have like multiple guests on per episode. And so they have like a certain allotted time that they have with people because they work like at a studio and like they have lives outside of work. Crystal's got kids, I'm sure, and I think Sagar's still relatively young and he has stuff that he likes to do outside of work. You're the only person that is making content literally from your like garage and shit like that, and you know, you literally just go and like watch like Tucker Carlson after you're finished working. Crystal's a mother. Crystal has shit that she has to do. And so running a network that is literally followed by up to damn near 1 million people now is a hard thing to do, Jimmy. Especially when it's just you and one other person. See, you wouldn't know because your wife does everything for you. So I'm just saying, like you obviously, and I can tell you this as someone who has, when you schedule interviews, it's hard for they run a certain time. They run a certain time. I don't know.
There's another TV show coming in. It's not true. There's no other TV show coming. There's no commercial break they have to get to. They could talk to him, and I'm sure he would be glad to answer her.
So you just said that they're beholden to the establishment. But if they were beholden to the establishment, wouldn't they have commercial breaks and shit because they're being funded? This guy's a liar, bro.
Questions and to make her and reveal that she doesn't know what she's talking about. But that's a little trick that Rachel did that's dishonest and hacky.
Who the fuck
and
is
she
Rachel?
said that, oh, we only have 5 minutes left. They have as much time as she wants to have left. But the reason why that she said that is because she...
Did this man just say Rachel? Dude, you can see that he's so angry. Listen, Jimmy, I live a life of positivity now. Let me know. I'll literally text you some tips over as to how you can be happy. One key trick, don't have too much dick up your ass. It's not really all that good for you.
She doesn't know her asshole from a hole in the ground when she's talking about this, but she sure knows how to repeat establishment talking points about Russiagate, about COVID, about lockdowns.
Jimmy, Crystal never once said that the Russians helped Trump win the election. What the fuck are you talking about? She never said that. I watched Crystal Ball for years. She never said that once. In fact, she was one of the first people to come out against the narrative that Russia helped Trump to win. So you're literally just making shit up now. You're literally just making shit up. She never said that ever.
About vaccines and now about RFK Jr. without ever actually knowing anything about any of them.
She might have just had to pick up Kyle Kalinske from soccer.
Maybe that's what it was.
people like me who aren't persuaded. and you see this as an issue, and the fact that it's been such a central part of your advocacy means I can't just sort of put it to the side and say, oh, well, I'll just ignore, this piece that's been really important to you in your life. So
it's obvious to me that Jimmy and his pals still watch Kyle's channel, because he only talks about, because Kyle's a soccer coach for, Crystal's kids. And he only talks about that on Kyle and Corin, which the best damn podcast on the whole net, Kyle and Corin. Go and, check it out. It usually comes out on Sundays. So Kyle and Corin, Kyle revealed it on that show. So it's obvious to me that Jimmy and crew still watch Kyle's show, especially Kyle and Corin. Which, hey, I mean, if you just want to vibe for an hour and a half, go and watch Kyle and Corin. I can't say enough about that show. It's really, really funny. Yeah, I mean, that just kind of proves it right there that they're so insecure.
You're running in a Democratic primary. You have a lot of people who feel even more strongly than me who think that,
At some point, she's going to let him talk. At some point, she's going to let him answer.
Dr. Fauci is a hero and all of these things. How are you going to persuade them? How are you going to reach them? And what is your message to them?
Well, first of all, I'm not leading with, my opinions about vaccines. What I say to people is show me where I got it wrong. Show me where I got my science wrong. I've written books.
She answered you that.
I wrote a book about the link between thimerosal and autism that has, I think, 450 distilled scientific studies that confirm and validate that hypothesis, and 1,400 references. And if I got something wrong, show me where it is.
But I think people have shown you where things are wrong.
No, I just won't. I'm just not going to do it. I won't do it because I don't know what I'm talking about. And
I'll show it. Hold on. Vaccines cause autism. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find something that doesn't come from the federal government. I'm trying to find something that's actually kind of trustworthy here. Ooh, okay. How about the Autism Science Foundation? Let's see what they have to say. Well, would you look at that? Hold on a second. This is not from a .gov site. This is not from a federal government site. Nothing of that nature. Well, would you look at that? Vaccines do not cause autism. There is no correlation between autism and vaccines. This has been confirmed through dozens of scientific studies examining different types of vaccines and different vaccine timing schedules. Researchers have also studied thimerosal, a mercury-based preservative used in many vaccines, to see if it has any relation to autism. The results are clear. The data show no relationship between vaccines, thimerosal, and autism. Now, the question is, though, where does autism come from? I'm gonna search that up right now. Where does autism come from? Autism. Okay, now this is from the CDC, but there's no reason that they would lie about this. Autism spectrum is a developmental disability caused by differences in the brain. Some people with autism have a known difference, such as a genetic condition. Other causes are not yet known. Scientists believe that there are multiple causes of ASD that add together to change the most common ways people develop. Are you born with it? Autism is not an illness. It's something that you are born with. Signs of autism might be noticed when you're very young or not until you are older. You're born with it. And you're not vaccinated right off the bat as soon as you are born. It literally says that you're born with it. Boom, right here. NHS says it. Boom, right here, that you are born with autism. You're born with autism, which is exactly what RFK Jr. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sharing this tab. I was just making sure. Which is what RFK Jr. does not say, which is just factually true, that you are born with autism. It's not true that vaccines cause autism. It's not true.
Listen to what she said. Listen to this garbage. First of all, she's interrupting him again. And second of all, she won't show him what he got wrong so they can have an honest conversation about it. She's just doing broad stroke smears. And then when he actually starts to respond, she just talks over him and interrupts him.
Where it is.
But I think people have shown you where things are wrong, but you don't want to hear it. Is because I've seen,
Crystal, did you just say that you think people have shown him where he's wrong and he doesn't want to hear it? Because that's weird, because he just literally said that he'd like to hear where he's wrong. He just literally said that. I'd like,
and she literally said it. She said it at the very, very start of this video. I'm not playing it all the way back. There's only so much that I can listen to Jimmy Dore talk.
like to hear where I'm wrong. And instead of you telling him where he's wrong, you tell him he doesn't want to hear the thing he just said that he wants.
That's not what she said. She literally said at the very, very start of the video. She said why she thinks that he's wrong. Jimmy, you're literally just lying, bro. You're literally lying.
Wanted to hear. Actually, it sounds like you, Crystal, don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it.
Fact checks Dr. Vinay Prasad, who we, really respect on the COVID vaccine. He went through your interview with All In.
She's referencing that garbage fact check that we debunked with Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford on this show.
I couldn't believe it, Jimmy. I went back and watched it because I remember being like, well, what's the big deal of Vinay? Well, like, he's not. She's calling it a fact check.
She's calling that a fact check. We already debunked that fact check. That's how dumb she's being on right now on purpose.
So
Jimmy, every time that you fact check something, people that are a little bit smarter than you are always show that your fact checks are always proven wrong every fucking time. I'm literally just saying, like I don't use it anymore just because I have no need for it. But whenever I would see your shit on Twitter and people would and you would be on there fact checking things, people would literally go to websites and go to articles and or books literally proving your shit wrong every single time. You get dunked on by people in their fucking teens, bro. I'm just telling you that you have no basis for any of this shit. Stick to your dry humor that you have to sell free tickets to your shows because no one wants to willingly go to your shows. Just go and stick with that, bro. You are fine as you're fine as a comedian. When you're not talking about politics, you're kind of funny. But when you're talking about politics, you're not funny. But I'll give Jimmy this, like I just said, when he's not talking about politics, he's actually kind of funny. It would just be dishonest for me to say that he's not funny, but he doesn't know shit about politics. Nothing. He literally has a degree in comedy or some shit. I have 3 years worth of college of me being in politics. I know what I'm talking about.
She didn't even watch that one.
She didn't even know. So if you would have watched that fact check with Dr. Vinay Prasad, you would have known that he didn't fact check anything. That he's doing exactly what you're doing. Vinay Prasad humiliated himself and debased himself by forwarding big pharma talking points and propaganda, just like you're doing, without actually challenging.
Didn't Vinay Prasad endorse Bernie Sanders? I'm pretty sure. I can't find it. I'll put it in, or I'll have Liam edit this shit later if we find it, and I'll have him throw it into the video right here.
Challenging anything that RFK Jr. has ever said.
Well, Jimmy, the thing that stuck out when I went back and rewatched the B'nai Prasad thing is like, we won't know for like 10 years.
Yes.
Massive man. And what it means is all the people in his circle and class are going to refuse to know anything about this until 10 years
from
pass and
now.
we feel comfortable.
Yeah. Admitting it.
Looking back.
When they can say,
I just want to make it clear, I was not a fan of the vaccine mandates. I thought that they were kind of pointless and just like the thing is that like I was not anti-vax. I've literally gotten every single one of the vaccine shots, but I respect the people who can't like get it due to health, or they just say that like they're not gonna get it. But like the people who just like are calling out other people for, you know, defending the vaccine, calling them like, you know, big pharma shows, when that's just literally not true, and they just have a difference of life. And like in my case, I'm not a pharma show. They're not paying me. It's just that I happen to have a job where I'm surrounded by a lot of compromised people, and it happens to be that within my household I have a person that I live with that's very easily compromised to sickness. And so, does that make me a pharma shill, Jimmy? Does it? Because I know for a fact that I'm not one. You should look at my look at my bank account. I have about $3 in there until like next week when I get paid. So, yeah. I wish I was a pharma shill, but I'm not.
So let's listen to more.
A fact check. I mean, it's not.
And then I
people
have a
have-
fact check of the night. You should read that.
I will take a look at it, but I don't think that it's fair to say nobody has ever pointed out anything that's been.
You can't just keep saying that other people have fact checked you without saying what the fact check is. You can do that. That's what she's doing. But when you do that, everyone sees right through you, and what a garbage journalist you're being right now, and a garbage person.
Jimmy, you literally just contradicted yourself. Hold on.
It's fair to say nobody has ever pointed out anything that's been.
You can't just keep saying that other people have fact checked you without saying what the fact check is. You can do that. That's what she's doing. But when you do that, everyone sees right through you, and what a garbage journalist you're being right now, and a garbage person, and everyone sees right through it.
A garbage person?
So you can keep doing that.
How is Crystal a garbage person? I think she's a very good person. I think she's a nice person. I think she has a difference of opinion. And I think that considering the fact that she's very well educated and versed in this stuff, I think she knows what she's talking about, Jimmy. More than you do.
Wait, did you hear what she goes? You can't say nobody fact checked. He didn't say that. He said, show me where I'm
He
wrong.
said, show me where I'm wrong.
And she showed it.
And then he wrote a fact check to that bullshit fact check that she's talking about, and she didn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to talk about anything except smears of RFK Jr. That's what this is.
It's not a smear, Jimmy.
Okay. Well, at least, Crystal, now you know why. Was it ABC actually edited out?
Yeah.
ABC News edited out RFK Jr.'s stuff he said about vaccines, instead of sounding like an idiot like you are right now.
In fact, hats off to her for not cutting it off.
Hats off to you for not cutting this out, because you look like an idiot. And look at Sagar just sitting there, just fucking sitting there, just sitting there, knowing she's doing it.
Wrong.
Well, here's what people complain about what I say. And again, I'm not leading on this issue, so people can either take it or leave it. But if you want to, what you just said about me, that I'm sort of hard-headed and stubborn and just won't give in.
She didn't say that, though, bro. She just said that you're wrong about something that you literally said that is proven to be false.
You're wrong about that. If somebody shows me wrong, I'm going to correct it.
She told you.
We have probably the most robust fact-checking operation now in North America. I have 350 PhD scientists and MD physicians on, CHE's advisory board, including until recently Luc Montagnier won the Nobel Prize for discovering the HIV virus. Chris Bourdieu, who's the head of the National Toxicity Program at NIH, formerly probably the top toxicologist in America. And if I were saying things that were scientifically unsound, those people would not stay with us. What I would say to you is, show me where I got it wrong. Show me a study where I got wrong, and I will change my position.
I mean, he can't hear or see me, but I just showed it.
Science is fluid. It's not an embarrassment to me if there's a new scientific study that I haven't seen that comes out and says I'm wrong. That's what you're supposed to do with science. But what I'm saying to you, nobody has done that. If Vinay Prasad, when he did his piece, if he showed me science that was valid, I would say I would change my position.
If we got the two.
But there's science that like science isn't based off like what's valid or not valid. You can't say that science isn't valid. It's like how science is based off of data and it's based off of evidence. There's not invalid science. There's stuff that science can't prove, but it's not invalid per se. It's like you can't say that a pregnancy test is invalid. It's either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. It's like science shows whether something is factual or not factual. And so for him to say that is just not true. And I mean, it's like I said, I'm glad that he's getting the platform. I really am. But I also think that he knows where the money's at. I mean, RFK Jr. is a career politician, and he's only a Kennedy in name only because his uncle and father are rolling over in their graves right now based off what he's saying. Because he's the most conservative Dem ever. And nothing wrong with being a conservative. Nothing. But when you're running in a Democratic primary spewing shit about vaccines, you should be running in the Republican primary. I mean, they already want you to run with Trump anyway. So that just shows you all that you need to know.
Read together.
So you say this isn't what you're leading with, but I just have to say, as someone who is watching your candidacy closely and is aware of the advocacy you've been doing and the organization that you are involved with.
I mean, I just have to say, as someone who's smug, rich, and half-informed in the best of times, I don't like your position. But I will keep asking you questions and then cut you off when you try to answer.
It's hard for me to believe this won't be an important part of how you govern. So I think that's the most important piece for people to get, who you have to accept there are going to be people like me who just don't agree with you on this. You certainly understand that there are many who...
You have to understand there's going to be people like me who don't personally know anybody who's been injured by a vaccine, and so therefore don't give a shit. Answer me this, Robert. If it's not safe, how come I had all my kids injected with it, including Kyle Kalinske?
Do you think that the vaccines that we have are more beneficial than harmful, that, got their kids vaccinated and are happy for that decision? So how is this going to impact the way that you govern, or does it not at all?
I mean, I'm going to govern according to, evidence-based medicine. That's
So let me give a specific question. If there's another pandemic, in the last pandemic...
Thank God she cut him off. Thank God. Thank God. I was like, she's going to let him get an answer out? No, thank God she didn't. Okay.
Former President Trump, something we gave him a lot of credit for. He launched Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah. She's still doing it. She's still giving him credit for that.
What is she worried about what's going to happen? They're not going to rush it next time?
You right?
What is the fear? Will you lock us down if necessary?
I mean, people don't talk about this, and Jimmy doesn't talk about this, but It was Trump who created the vaccine. That was him, and that was his people that made it. So, one, the vaccine injuries are few and far between. It doesn't happen to everybody, like he's saying. And if it does, it's very, very minor. But even if it's major, it's also probably because someone had like an underlying health problem. Two, Jimmy and all the people that are on the right, because I call Jimmy a right winger now, because that's what he is, because his grift and his money comes from the right wing, because like I've said in the past, being a left winger does not get you money. It gets you vilified and hated by most of the world. Most of the secular world. But also leftists are right on virtually everything. I said virtually. There's some stuff that we're wrong on. Like, I personally don't think that felons should be like, if you're in jail, you should not be able to vote. I'm not for that. But I digress to just say that no one on the right ever talks about the fact that, like, Trump was the one who locked the country down. And in 2020, Trump was bragging about how he locked the country down and saved lives. He said that during the first presidential debate when he was talking about leadership, and Biden said that he would have kept the country open. Trump said that. And Trump said that Biden keeping the country open would have been a bad thing, and that it would have been a terrible thing. So for you to turn around now and say that Biden was the one that had the lockdowns, that's just not factually accurate. That's just not true. That's not true. That's literally not true, because on this particular issue, the parties were actually switched on this matter. The Democrats wanted to keep the country open. Republicans wanted to close it. I don't know why. I would think they would be switched, but it wasn't. On this particular issue, the Democrats actually, I guess, were on the based side, and the Republicans were on the, authoritarian side. I literally lived through lockdowns. I know what it was like. It was very, very isolating. I hated it. But I personally think that, if we had kept the government open, we would have been okay as a people. It's just that we didn't know what we were dealing with. And so I think that the lockdown affected a lot of things. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't want to live through it again. But I think that Jimmy's being disingenuous, because he's literally not admitting that it was Trump that did the lockdowns.
Sorry.
Will you do things that are counter to science and the way you're supposed to handle things, and then lie about them at the behest of Big Pharma, like Fauci and we did at this show? Because they did.
I like to bring up the Sacklers a lot. Somehow I don't put it together. It ain't just them.
Whole of government approach. They used the mRNA technology that was developed using, U.S. taxpayer dollars to get a vaccine out to the population as quickly as possible.
She still doesn't see any problems with that. A rushed vaccine, which normally takes 10 years. She still doesn't know anything about excess deaths. She doesn't know anything about.
Did she not see Fauci warning us about it?
Did she not see any 1 in 800 vaccinations have turned into adverse events? She doesn't know anything.
Holding the records back for 75 years like his dad's.
Nothing.
Excess death. What the fuck?
Pfizer wanted to hold back the vaccine trial data for 75 years. Does she even fucking know that? And if she does know that, it doesn't inform her one bit. She's not skeptical or suspect that she's being lied to by Big Pharma, the government, the captured FDA, the regulatory agencies, or their corporate bought media. She's not skeptical of it. She's skeptical of RFK Jr., and she doesn't know why. She's skeptical because she's been told to be skeptical, and she doesn't actually think for herself. She's being told. That's why she went along with Russiagate, which is why she went along with
Bro, that's not true, Jimmy. That's not true. Do I really need to pull this shit up? In fact, I think I will. Hold on. Crystal ball. Russiagate. Hold on. I believe
do SEO smarter and faster.
I don't give a shit.
With Wix, you can edit your meta
I
tags.
don't care. Okay.
All right, Crystal, what's on your radar?
Well, Resistance Dems Russiagate brainworms have reemerged in spectacular fashion. Allow me to explain. So as we reported here yesterday and also this morning, Republican Senator Richard Burr had his phone seized recently as part of an FBI investigation into whether he traded stock on non-public knowledge obtained through his perch as chair of the Senate Intel Committee. That search warrant was reportedly based on information law enforcement had gleaned from Burr's iCloud account. Now, a judge would have had to find probable cause in order to justify this phone seizure, and because of the explosive and sensitive nature of the investigation, it would have all had to be approved by Attorney General Bill Barr. So here are the details of Senator Burr's alleged lawbreaking as we know them. In early February, as the Trump administration was downplaying the potential outbreak, and Senator Burr was echoing some of the president's rhetoric, he was also quietly selling off a large chunk of his stock holdings in advance of a pandemic-induced stock market crash. On February 13th, in 33 separate transactions, the senator offloaded stocks, which would subsequently drop in value, successfully protecting his own financial position. He'd been receiving classified briefings around that time, or only a short while ago. Now that it was actually happening, it was assumed without any evidence to be somehow nefarious. Here's the specific theory laid out by a leading Russiagator and derided appropriately by friend of the show, Aaron Mate. You see,
top Russiagate fanfiction writer speculates that FBI wants to stop Burr from exposing collusion. Crystal talked about this with the now non-based and the now right-winner, Aaron Mate. She talked about it, Jimmy. So your shit is just not true. It's not accurate. You're literally making shit up. You're making shit up. It's not true.
Lockdowns? Why she went along with mandates?
Not
Why
true.
she's doing this right now?
How would your approach have differed?
My approach would have been a science-based approach,
Which means what?
which means a medicine-based approach. The approach that
Wait, can I just point something out?
for,
How smooth this dude is, because this is where Trump would have called her a nasty woman
Yes.
3 times already,
And been right to do so.
and been right, and he doesn't even have an ego about it. He just makes the case.
Yes.
I mean, how do you not like that?
Your approach have differed.
my approach would have been a
Please interrupt him.
science-based approach.
Please interrupt him.
Which means what?
Okay,
Which
good.
means a medicine-based approach, the approach that has been used for, and approved for decades. You look first at therapeutics that are off the shelf, and you look at the efficacy of those. I mean, what I would have done if I was in power then, I would have created an information grid, because now we have this internet that is supposed to benefit us and has become instead an instrument for,
Oppression.
totalitarian control. But let's use it for something good. Let's link all 15 million scientists, doctors, frontline physicians all over the world, and find out what they're doing to treat this new respiratory virus, and find out what they're saying is working and not working, and then test that with science, and then turn it instantaneously into protocols and recommendations for other scientists.
So would a vaccine development be part of that or not?
Well, I don't think the vaccine worked. I think, if you think it worked, then try to explain to me are the countries that were unvaccinated did much better than our.
Many of those countries, because there are a lot of different factors in various countries. So a lot of those countries that you pointed out before,
So now she wants to debate him. So now she kind of wants to debate him. but she's not. She's just talking over him.
Because he said something that wasn't true.
She's kind of. Isn't that funny? I thought you didn't want to do this.
Well, wait, why are we talking about other factors? I thought that we weren't supposed to talk about other factors except for one factor, which is the safe, effective vaccine.
Safe, effective vaccine. Now she's talking about other factors.
Yeah, wait, she says something funny here.
Okay.
Is death rate count in the world by far?
I think there are a lot of factors that may go into that.
Yeah.
One of them is the fact that we are disproportionately obese as a society. We have
No, that's literally true. That's a fact. I mean, is Jimmy gonna argue that we're not obese? As someone who is obese and working on it, I'm not gonna be fat for the rest of my life. That's not fucking true. Like, it's true that we're obese and that if you get a vaccine that is meant to fight off a virus, they're putting a little bit of the virus inside of you whenever you get the vaccine. So if you're not fully healthy, it's going to be harder for you it's going to be harder for your body to accept the vaccine within you. That's just factually proven.
we have the negative health outcomes that we've been talking about. We don't go outside as much as countries, say in Africa. I mean, there are a lot.
That's great, Crystal. I think the NIH slogan should be "Go outside like Africa." Joe Rogan goes outside like Africa, and he was attacked for it.
Hey, stop running. What are you, a horse?
This is really something, huh? She's really mask off moment for her.
Because if you were saying that, hey, maybe get help. The things you said that I think hated you for, like
Yes.
get outside exercise. Don't stop it. Don't take anything away from the one thing.
I was telling people get their zinc, get their vitamin D3, get all the other stuff you can't say.
A lot of different factors that may play into that. But I will say, did the vaccines work in the way they were initially promised to prevent spread? No, I don't think so, especially once you got to later variants. But we have a
What?
It's soccer. Like, what are you talking about?
So did they work like they said? No. But so what? What? That's what she's saying. Did the vaccines work the way they were promised, preventing the spread of the virus? Like, what a vaccine does?
No, that's not what it's meant to. That's not what it's meant to do. That was what it was marketed as, but that's not what a vaccine does. A vaccine is meant to protect individuals from death. It's not meant to stop a spread, because you can still get the virus that you are vaccinated from. It's like how if someone were to get polio now, it wouldn't stop you from getting polio. Half of us probably have not polio. Half of us probably have the polio virus, but because we're vaccinated, we don't get the effects. We don't feel anything from it. It doesn't, it doesn't debilitate us. It doesn't stop us from getting it. So when the CDC was like, stop the spread, get vaccinated, that was very disingenuous. They should have went with something different, because what the COVID vaccine does is it's proven in like 82% of people that it stops you from dying from it, even if you're not extremely healthy. Like, it's not going to stop the spread. You can still get COVID. So for Jimmy to say that is disingenuous, because that's not what it does.
No, but did it work? I bet she's required to say it did. Let's watch.
No, it did.
a lot of data that shows that in terms of reducing severe hospitalization and death,
Yeah.
the vaccines were really important.
Exactly.
And maybe
Oh, see? So they get to just change the story in the middle of the...
No, it's not changing the story. That's literally what it was meant for. The CDC done fucked up when they said that it was supposed to stop the spread of COVID. That's not what it was meant to do.
the pandemic, and she just repeats it. Except saying, wait a minute, that's the exact opposite of what you all said. That isn't the way vaccines normally work. Can you imagine if we all took the polio vaccine and we all got polio, and someone said it was just there to lessen my symptoms? This is all crazy talk.
Is the vaccine
I guess I'm fucking crazy then. I guess I'm crazy for saying something that's actually factually accurate. That it's meant to decrease your symptoms and stop it from debilitating you. Vaccines are not meant to stop you from getting stuff. That's not what it's meant for.
like for the hospital to keep from being infected with patients? Is that how it's intended? Maybe I misunderstood.
Okay. Look, it identifies as a vaccine. That's all that matters.
I consider it like the Dylan Mulvaney of medicine. It's not the thing that you thought it was, and it's
Which, by the way, I want to say Joe Rogan's based defending Dylan Mulvaney. I just wanted to put that out there. That's why the right wing hates him now.
mandatory. Mandatory everywhere.
There was a cost-benefit analysis.
I want to see that data. I know that's what the industry says.
There is lots of data, and not just from here, from
and so she just keeps talking. She just keeps. She says she doesn't want to talk about the data, which she actually doesn't. She just keeps making these broad, sweeping generalizations that are meaningless.
My God, I hope she hasn't gone deaf from the booster.
And he could debunk everything she's saying, except she won't let him because they only have 5 minutes, which is total made up lie. And she won't stop talking over him when he actually has interesting, smart things to say. She wants to keep interrupting him with dumb things that are ignorant, that she doesn't know anything about, that she's heard other people say, and she's repeating. She's a repeater.
I think he says that. He says, "I'll do respect."
Yeah, here it comes.
The world that shows the vaccine doses, and not just our vaccines, but ones that were created all around the world, reduce severe hospitalization and death.
That's
so in
just
that way,
factually
yes,
accurate.
I do very much believe that they
And
will.
let me tell you something. What I believe you're doing now is you're parroting what the public health agencies have been saying, but they do not have a scientific basis for that. And I have another book out that you should look at called Died Suddenly that goes through all the Johns Hopkins data, which is the dashboard.
She's not going to do that.
Now watch what she does.
She's not going to read that book. She didn't read your last book, your first book, your third. She's not reading anything. She's just going to repeat what she's told to say.
That everybody used and shows exactly what happened when first of all, the vaccine, the Case Western study that is probably the largest, most recent, shows that at most the vaccine gives you a very, very small amount of protection, and that after 7 months, you go into negative efficacy. So you are more, if you got vaccinated, you're more likely to get sick. You're more likely to get severe illness. And you're more likely to die than if you were unvaccinated.
I have not seen that.
She didn't see it.
Oh, no kidding.
She hasn't seen you. I'm shocked that you haven't seen it.
A voracious mind like hers?
All that fire in the belly for the truth about vaccines that she has.
All those long intellectual conversations with Kalinsky, you guys didn't get curious?
Study after study that shows the
Oh my God, she's seen dozens of studies, Kurt. She hasn't read dozens of them. She doesn't plan to, but she's seen them, and she certainly couldn't debate them with him, which is why she keeps changing the subject, talking over him and interrupting him.
How many times do you have to...
You don't think he would slam dunk your ass if you stop talking over him for a second?
And not even slam dunk. He would very politely and gently just tell you
you're
the
wrong.
studies that he read.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Listen, I don't want to get bogged down in this
because you're in over your head and you have no idea what you're talking about. I just want to make a bunch of bullshit statements about how you're wrong, and then when you're about to show me that I'm wrong, I want to say I don't want to talk about it anymore. Because that's a very hacky, cowardly thing to do.
Well, it sounds like
she's doing it right on camera. That's how bad it is. She doesn't have the self-awareness to know how shitty of a person, not only a journalist, but a person she's being right now.
I think she's actually better than most of the mainstream media, and it's this bad.
And that's what I'm saying.
It is better than like where they cut him off.
Right.
Because you at least got to see this.
At least we got to see how bullshitty she is.
Yeah, but I think you still got to do this little nonsense because I don't think it's just the viewers funding them, is it? There must be somebody who won't be happy.
There must be somebody who won't be happy.
don't think we're going to see eye to eye here, and we have some other questions we want to get to, and your time is short. But
Clearly.
we'll put in post, please send us what you're looking at.
Yeah, we're
We'll
happy.
put what I'm looking at, and people can judge for themselves. Hey guys, ready or
Saga
not?
was trying to
Hey
listen to
guys, guys, hey guys,
You
how
hear
are
Saga?
guys?
Come on,
Saga's-
Come on, guys.
He's going, like Saga's trying to hear the point, and then you cut it. Just jump in.
Sweetie.
Right, the last second.
Their own viewers. So the beauty is their own viewers called them out. So I didn't even really need to do this, but I did it for fun. Crystal is arguing by parroting info that she has a bias towards, yet won't let RFK state his side. Lost more respect for her today. Oh, did you? I would have lost more respect for Crystal had I had any left to lose. No, I don't have any. This is 100% my opinion as well. These are under her own thing.
Dog. They were a bunch of pussies. They don't have any profile pictures. That's how you know that they're literally either Jimmy Dore bots or like stands and shit. Hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Wow, actual profile pictures. Okay. All right. Interesting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Jimmy, these people don't have any lives. They're all robots. They're not real, Jimmy. They're not real. They don't have any personality. They're right-wingers, Jimmy, who are uninformed. There are informed right-wingers. I talk to them all the time. I'm friends with right-wingers. They are intelligent and informed people that know what they're talking about. These people are frothing at the mouth looking for something to be angry about. That's what it is. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Crystal is not open-minded. She just wants to say her piece with no feedback because she cannot defend them scientifically. She never could. And all these people, her, Ryan Grimm, Kyle Kalinske, everybody at the Young, all the people who are 100% wrong about COVID and the vaccines and everything, they can't defend them scientifically,
You shouldn't have to.
which is why none of them ever brought me on their show. They were so sure I was lying and I was wrong. None of them ever brought me on their show to try to debunk what I was saying. And what I was saying
I'm
was
bringing it on
that
my show.
the vaccine, everybody's going to get COVID, no matter how many people get vaccinated. And the vaccine is to help you. It's not to stop transmission or contraction.
Right,
It's
we know
going to
that.
lessen your symptoms. That's what we were. And so that's why mandates were always wrong. And we were pointing out that each country that had the highest uptake at vaccines also had some of the highest spread of the virus. And so I was pointing out before we knew that they were lying, that they never even tested to see if the vaccine stopped transmission. Before we knew that, I put it together just by the evidence that it didn't. Because everybody who got vaccinated, they were all getting COVID anyway. And then Andy Slavitt, Joe Biden's czar on COVID, in June of 2021 said everybody's going to get COVID. That was when we had Delta,
Didn't say that.
which isn't even half as contagious as Omicron. He was saying that
Delta
back then.
Yo, Jimmy. Hold on a second. When was the Delta COVID wave? Jimmy. Interesting. Since the beginning of the Delta wave in December 2021. This dude can't stop lying, can he? Sweetie, what? What do you want?
Ben, nobody knew he said that. I told everybody he said that. They ignored that he said that. So it didn't matter. It never mattered how many people were going to get vaccinated. It was never going to stop the pandemic, ever.
No one said that,
Everybody
bro.
was always going to get COVID. And they lied to you. She lied to you. Kyle lied to you. The entire media apparatus lied to you, except this show. And there's maybe Kim Iverson.
Oh, I'm dying. The vaccine's killing me. Oh my god. I can't, bro. I can't. It's so fun to watch him make up bullshit and like, you know, try to like appeal to like Trump supporters. But like whenever he talks about something remotely left wing on his channel, he gets like, you know, ratio, which is funny.
Do you think it's more of the thing of like, you know, it's like it's not that we're ivermectin. Let's not even study it in case it works. Like,
Right.
It's not like we're not even gonna look that hard into it in case it's right. The thing,
Yeah, but like ivermectin comes from big pharma too. So like y'all are literally full of shit.
that's right now.
We're not going to do the kind of study we should be doing. There's another. It says under her own video. I love this. Right up until Crystal steamrolled him over and over, saying she didn't want to debate the topic that she just brought up to debate. Then cut him off over and over after asking him to
It
answer.
kind of sounds like it's a bunch of people who knew what you were going to say in your video and then repeated your talking points. Interesting. Just wanted to put it out there that you can make up to, I think, 10 Google accounts. I'm just saying.
Her questions so brutal.
Wait a
You're
second.
supposed-
Wait. Hold on a second. This proves it. Hold on. You know how when you comment on a YouTube video, here, watch. I'll show you. You know how when you comment on a YouTube video, it shows like your like icon and shit? See? Look, watch. It shows like your icon. Right? You see that? You see the like, you know, add a comment shit right here. You see how you see my channel icon right here? Look at what it shows. Since they're on their YouTube account, look! It's one of those Google Johns. Look! Hold on. I'll take it out of full screen so that you can see it.
Supposed to be gathering and publishing his opinion on topics.
Look right there. You see it? It's literally a Google thing. That proves my point. It's literally them. It's you. It's you. I didn't even notice that shit until just now. It's you, Jimmy.
She says, "Good interview. Pity you wouldn't have let him finish his thoughts on the vaccines.
It's dangerous for him to finish his thoughts.
It is dangerous. Gonna will trip your brother up." This is their likes and dislikes. They have 6,800 so almost 80% of their own viewers disliked their video. 8 out of 10 of their own viewers didn't like their video.
Like I said,
And I
it.
guarantee you, Kurt,
Yeah.
she is not going to apologize for this. She is not going to say you were right, I was wrong. She's going to say her audience is wrong. And you're a dummy for even listening to her in the first place, because that's what Rachel Maddow says when you call her on it. What did you want to say?
She's done enough, I think,
Sweetie,
with this
what?
beautiful display. Like, you
Why?
look great in it. You can see people how they reacted to it. If this was the network, they wouldn't even have got this.
So this guy put it through one of these AI, like a chat
I'm
GPT,
recording.
but he put it through this thing called Bard AI.
Get out.
And this is what it came up with. Crystal Ball's interview with RFK Jr. was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. This is what the artificial intelligence came up with.
Yeah, right.
It was hard to look away, even though you knew it was going to be bad.
Uh-huh.
Ball was rude,
Uh-huh.
condescending, and disrespectful. RFK Jr. tried his best to be polite
Right.
and answer her questions,
Yeah,
but
sure.
it was clear that she wasn't interested in having a real
Yeah, I'm sure an AI came up with that. I'm sure.
conversation. The whole thing was a mess, and it's a shame that Breaking Points would air something like that.
Oh yeah, sure. An AI came up with that. Sure. It doesn't sound like something that you literally fed it to say. It literally does not sound like something that you told it to say. Sure. I'm sure that an AI came up with that, Jimmy. You're so full of shit, bro.
It's a shame. I think it's great.
I think it's
I loved
great.
watching that, and also it was great to watch because honestly, if I had that stupid coming at me like that, but ask me a question, cut me off,
Yeah,
I wouldn't hold it together like
I
RFK
wouldn't
Jr. I'll
hold-
tell you that.
I would not have held it together. I would have put her in her place for sure.
Yeah, he did great.
He did great. I tweeted out, what Crystal Ball is doing here is the opposite of journalism. She's revealing her uninformed cowardice and willingness to repeat big pharma propaganda. She was repeatedly wrong on COVID and the vax, yet her ignorance and arrogance is on full display, and her audience is calling her out. One more, they should really rename the show. How about Faking Points? Compton
Stayed up
J
all night,
says,
but it was worth it.
so now, Crystal Ball is personal friends with another Democratic candidate for president,
Oh,
to the point where Marianne Williamson was the person who did the service. She officiated at her wedding.
oh,
Marianne Williamson was at her wedding like
Good shit.
5 seconds ago, officiating it.
Good shit.
And now she's doing that kind of hit job on her opponent, RFK Jr. That doesn't look bad, does it?
I thought Marianne Williamson was known as like the hippie lady, so she's a real. She on Vax, she's going to be crazy far away from RFK Jr. Marianne Williamson.
I don't know. Paying off your access journalism, Bills with Crystal Ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Being anti-vax is worse than funding Nazis to Marianne Williamson supporters, according to Crystal Ball.
What? Huh? Where does that come from? The Ukraine shit? My God, there's Nazis on both sides. Just saying.
Ball, because that's what she's for. She's literally for funding Nazis in Ukraine. And so
I knew he
sure,
was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that because that's all Jimmy. These are the two things that he has. I pray to God that like the vaccine skepticism never ends, and I pray that like the Ukraine war never ends, because then Jimmy will have to go back to being like a leftist and he'll like lose all of his people.
points. It's so obvious that Crystal Ball and Breaking Points brought RFK Jr. on to point out his anti-vax stance in order to pull Democratic voters away.
So Compton J, whoever you are, you admit that RFK is anti-vax. Okay, then.
From RFK Jr. in hopes it helps weak Marianne Williamson. Crystal knows Democratic voters are pro-vax mostly, so this is the target of the interview. This is why Breaking Points clipped the anti-vax part of the interview barely 1 hour after the interview dropped. Ask yourself, have you ever seen Crystal Ball challenge Marianne Williamson this way?
Yes. When Marianne Williamson first officially announced that she was running for president, Crystal cornered her on Ukraine. Now, Marianne gave a fine answer, but she cornered her on Ukraine. Asked her some tough questions that I know I would not be able to answer.
The answer is, of course, no.
Oh, and she said that super PAC where she did, where she would help campaigns.
Yeah, she was
that
gonna-
was a
yeah.
whole thing. I don't think it was illegal or anything that she did, but that
She's
does
done-
sound like a. Yeah.
She's done illegal stuff, believe me. Jesus, I can't. This is Sabby Sabs. She says, Jesus, I can't. She's doing the work of Big Pharma here. Why not talk about how these pharmaceutical companies profited off the vaccine?
They did. What are you talking about? Breaking Points did say that. Bro.
Here's another one. They've got some nerve pulling this kind of crap with those books on the shelves in the background. RFK Sr., Hate Inc., and Manufacturing Consent. I wonder if they've read them or if they're just there for branding.
She's seen them.
She's seen those books. It's amazing how Crystal wouldn't let RFK answer any questions. Yeah, it is.
It sounded like when the debates, when the reporter was like to Bernie, like, did you tell Elizabeth Warren that a woman couldn't be president? And he was like, no. It's like, how did you feel when he told you a woman couldn't be president? It was like that.
Yeah. You want to hear another shitty thing she did? Here's
It's not
another
the same
shitty thing she did.
Let me ask you a little bit about that, because we both watched a lot of interviews of you, and both on a general interest, but also to prepare for this interview and sitting down with you. And I think some of the key issues that you tend to focus on are COVID, the Ukraine war, and censorship. Those are all issues where you seem to be in basic agreement with the former president, Donald Trump. So I'd love for...
So to me, that's really underhanded shit. You sound like you're in agreement with Donald Trump.
No,
Weren't
it's
you
true.
on Operation Warp Speed, by the way? He just said.
First of all, you agree with Donald Trump. You agree with him on Operation Warp Speed. Guess who doesn't? RFK Jr. didn't agree with him on COVID. Why are you lying? She just made that up. He doesn't agree with Donald Trump on that. So your question is wrong. You agreed with Donald.
No. RFK agrees with Trump's current stance because his audience is a bunch of pussies and they get their feelings hurt every time that the vaccine gets brought up. So now he switched his stance from being for the vaccine to being anti the vaccine. That's what RFK Jr. agrees with, is that sentiment. So he agrees with the current Donald Trump. Crystal agrees with when Trump was still in office.
Donald Trump. Not RFK Jr. You did. And then you say he agrees with Donald Trump on Ukraine and censorship.
Yeah, he does.
And my question to you is, why the hell don't you?
Yeah, what
the hell's your problem?
Because first priority is not agreeing with Trump, I guess.
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
So anyway, that was gross. There's a real mask-off moment for Breaking Points, and especially Crystal Ball. Sagar just kind of sat there through the whole thing, didn't say anything.
He probably had his guts in it, not having to sit through and listen to that embarrassing spectacle.
He didn't say anything.
Because he knows more things than her.
Yes, he does.
And so it's uncomfortable to have to. You still, it's like what's his name, Vinay Prasad, like his circle of people.
Yeah,
he can't just go blurting out truth.
The truth
he
all the
finds
time.
a little of them, and then he goes, "I'm going to stop here. That's too much truth for today. Spread it out over 10 years."
Yeah. By the way, Kurt, you know the COVID-19 vax is safe and effective, and it while it doesn't stop the spread or the transmission or the contraction, it certainly slows it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to get it anyway, but it's certainly so.
Kind of like how Crystal Ball didn't stop the conversation. She just slowed it down a lot.
Yes. Yeah. And it also will keep you from becoming seriously ill, hospitalized, or death. That's the beauty of that vaccine.
I've seen dozens of studies.
Okay, I've seen them. Hey, you're supposed to get 4 to 6 servings of vegetables and fruit. Of course, nobody does. So a way to make up for it.
I'm not watching that. Well, I want to show something really fast. Just Jimmy Dore claims to be anti-establishment, and he claims to be against the machine of war and shit. Hold on, can I zoom in here? I just want to show this because this was given to Jimmy Dore. Hold on. I have this on my phone. I'll see if I can pull it up. But this money, this check right here, was given to Jimmy Dore multiple times, which is just literally proof that he's taken money. He didn't get his mansion from his comedy shows, I'll tell you that much. So, I want to thank you guys all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoy this. I know this is a very long video, but I had to do this. I had to call out Jimmy Dore for his obvious lies. And I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that bell for all of the notifications. I love you guys, and I'm not beholden to any establishment. And it feels good knowing that. I can sleep at night. Peace out.